All right, I'm live. Where is the chat? What's going on with the chat? It's saying that there's something wrong in the chat. Is anybody? Well, nobody's here right now, so that might be what's wrong. Hey, everybody. All right. Well, 0 people. Donate if you're out there. 0 people. This is JL. There we go. There are the people. They're showing up. Trying to find the chat function here. I think big tech is trying to shut us down. But yes, hello, everybody. I'm JL Covan, if you didn't know, but hopefully a lot of you know that. This is a big night. This is a big night because we're trying to raise money for a good cause, and that cause is me. More specifically, my race for the Democratic nomination in the special election primary of NJ 11. I am, for many of you may know, but for you, those of you who don't know, I'm an attorney. I work in eviction prevention, but I've also been a stand-up comic for 22 years. And I figured tonight would be the perfect night to merge my desire to raise money for my campaign to do good in Washington, D.C. for New Jersey's 11th, and my ability as a comedian to make you laugh and do impersonations. And also our budget didn't really allow for me to bring in big name talent. So instead, I'm just going to have to do a Peter Sellers sort of, or Eddie Murphy, whatever your generation is, of a guy who does lots of characters. So I am confused. One thing, folks, that I'm just a little confused about, the chat is not working, and I'm not really sure why that is, because the chat would be good to have, I think, is what we often say. It says youtube.com refused to connect. Okay. And it's that kind of refusal to connect that I won't bring to Washington. I will connect. See how you pivot and turn it into a good thing. Where is the chat? People are going to start leaving soon. Yeah, because I want to answer questions that you guys may have, or comments or requests. But let's just start right now with my opening remarks. A lot of people ask me, JL, why are you running? And this is, hold on for 1 second, everybody, because if I don't have a chat, then I can't put info about where you can donate, which is sort of important for a telethon, don't you think? YouTube, does this not strike anybody as suspicious that they won't live chat summary, live chat replay, live chat summary, live chat replay. Let's get, and I've got live reactions. I don't know why it won't do this. And I seem like an amateur, but it seems odd that this would be the one time that YouTube would fail me. Anyway, JL for NJ.com. I'm going to be saying it a lot because the chat function is not working for me. So is the chat working for you? Oh, nice. My assistant has just found it's working here. Thank you, Steve Axworthy, person. I don't know who you are. All right, we're doing, if I do this, it's because we've got 2 screens. Do you see how adept I am? That my argument in this primary has been, I am a new kind of new generation Democrat who understands technology and communication. Allow me, while my computer breaks, to prove to you how good I am at tech and communication. So what I would like you to do is please, JL for NJ.com, bookmark it, read about me, and obviously donate to the number 2, JL.com is where you can go right to donate. I've said it before, we're trying to raise $15,000 tonight. That sounds like a lot of money. Trust me, when I hear it, I go, that's a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of these political campaigns, you've got candidates who've already amassed war chests of 500,000. Somebody's approaching $1 million. I don't anticipate raising anywhere near that much money, but I also don't anticipate needing that much money. It's basically, my mission here is to get to just a certain amount where we can make my ad, where we can get mailers, and we can continue just sort of general outreach to people. So, because every time I do one of these events, folks, it is exponential, in terms of growth that we see in terms of people's engagement, donations, etc. But it's such a short timeline. It's only 2 months, that there is no sort of natural progression of like, JL's gotten out there every day and he's meeting more and more people. This is like you've got to cram 6 months of engagement, work, and money into a 2-month period. So all donations are appreciated. I appreciate people donating just to me for being a funny, charming guy on YouTube, but it is imperative that if you are an American citizen and you've ever been a fan of my work, of what I stand for politically, of trying to get me to stay in this race and to get me to Washington, donate to jl.com. And my website is jl4nj.com. So, campaign update tomorrow. We are filming my ad. I'm very excited about this. Of course, the weather report said it's going to rain probably while you film your ad. And I said, I've already planned for that. So we've got a location B because I trusted that my luck would be atrocious. So it turns out maybe plan B will be needed, maybe not. But then it's time for the holidays, and I will just be doing gentle harassment online for donations and sharing different things and et cetera, et cetera. And then January is just going to be a full-blown sprint. And unlike, I think, a lot of the candidates in this race, I don't want to suggest anything about anybody who I don't know, but it seems most people in the race are working to get into this office, that their job is running for this. Whether it's spite or just glutton for punishment, I am still working. So it's like working 2.5 full-time jobs in the space of one day. But so far the response has been great. And, you know, the job that I do, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I do a little bit later in this 4-hour marathon telethon. But I will be talking about a book that's very special to me in the second hour. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But I know that I promised folks, and I apologize, I can see what you're writing, and I apologize that I can't comment, but at least I can see the chat now. Why just my computer is the one where the chat doesn't work. But obviously, I think as a native New Yorker, I moved to Bloomfield, New Jersey, a little over 6 years ago, and we love it. We love our building, we love our town. New Jersey Transit, let's be honest, leaves a little bit to be desired. The other night, I was going into the city for an event, and I was getting the 6:29 train from Bloomfield. And then at 6:58, they announced that that train was canceled, just in time to tell me that the 6:58 train was going to be late. Now, it was about 30 degrees outside, and I was prepared for a 3-minute wait on the platform, not the eventual 50-minute wait that I had to get my train. So needless to say, New Jersey Transit is really the only sort of consistent issue I have living here. Other than that, I have enjoyed it and loved it. And that's part of the reason why I want to go to Washington, is to represent my community. And by community, I also mean people who rent and people who take public transit. And I know sometimes there seems to be a divide in New Jersey between those two communities. But I am a native New Yorker, though. And I, of course, thought that the first person who could maybe speak on my behalf from my cast of characters would, of course, be former governor, not next mayor of New York City, Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, my mom is a big fan of yours. I don't know how many of my supporters are big fans, but it's nice of you to come by and maybe speak on my behalf, just to any of those sort of centrist Democrats who might be leaning one way or the other in the campaign. So thank you. So Andrew Cuomo's here. Oh, very nice. Hello, everyone looking at the chat. I am, of course, the 3-time governor of New York. I would have been mayor, except for Curtis Sliwa. I call him Coleslaw. He took votes away from me that would have helped me. We're doing the math right now. I would have still lost to Zoltar Mufasa. So that is unfortunate to find out that I still would have lost even if Coleslaw Curtis Sliwa was not in the race. So I have to just sort of do some self-evaluation. I do like the fact that JL is maybe not the, biggest tattletale in the Democratic Party. I do like that he's a native New Yorker. I know that he comes with a certain amount of toughness and street smarts, much like myself, except he has a sterling reputation for not being charming with females in the workplace. So we differ there because, as you know, I have been accused many times of doing inappropriate things, which are actually just called charisma, or as the kids would say, Riz. Maybe I should have said Riz more, and I would have beaten Zebra Maltani. I haven't gotten the hang of his name yet, but now that I've lost, I'm certainly never going to try and make an honest effort to say his name correctly. But I will say this: JL is, you know, probably not my favorite candidate in the race. He's a little bit too much of a straight arrow. I like to see candidates with a little bit of dirt, just so then I know that if push comes to shove, I can sort of do some gentle blackmail, which is, of course, not illegal. My lawyer is telling me now that that is, in fact, illegal. So that's okay. So that's news to me. That's why we consult our attorneys. It's called rule of law. And somebody's asking if I've ever considered legally changing my name to Adam Sandler. Oh, I think that's for JL, not for me. But here's the thing: JL cares about our seniors, and that's sort of where he doesn't really want my endorsement, because even though seniors who survived my administration were big fans of me, many did not. And JL wants to do something called elder care. He wants to expand our elder care system and make sure that families don't go bankrupt while caring for their loved ones. And I think that's an admirable quality. But what am I going to do with all the ventilators that I've stored up? I have a thriving, I invested heavily in ventilators during the 2020 pandemic, and we had a lot of them, and I probably purchased too many. So now I have a warehouse in Queens full of ventilators. And if JL does his thing and starts to maybe push for a more comprehensive elder care system, more home health aides covered, my ventilators are going to be even more worthless. And so that is a reason why I will not be endorsing JL. I think he's a lot taller than Mamdani. I think maybe he's not quite as radical left, but he still gives me sort of post-traumatic stress disorder that a charismatic new candidate who went to a NESCAC school, Mamdani went to Bowdoin, I think it's pronounced Bowdoin. I don't know, it looks French. It's somewhere in Maine. And JL went to Williams, which is also in the same conference. So I sort of get the heebie-jeebies when I look at JL, because it gives me sort of Zorro Malfasa. It gives me the kind of creeps when I think of it. So I am not endorsing JL, though I do appreciate some of his New York roots and the fact that his mom is still a big supporter of mine, and probably, if she's watching this, would be very upset with JL for doing this. So I'm going to go now. There is a happy hour somewhere for some group of young people that I will go talk to now. So have a good night, and I will talk to you later. Oh wow, that was great. I'm so I don't know if I should be proud, but I'm just happy that the former governor at least spoke highly of me in some areas, and then I'm proud of the places we sort of had disagreements culturally, ethically, etc. So I'm gonna just move this iPad real quick. And by the way, guys, there's going to be wardrobe changes tonight. There's going to be powders. There's going to be all sorts of things that we do today. But my guy Clifford is back here, and he's going to want to say hi at some point. My new dog Clifford. I have two dogs. My OG is Cookie, and the big guy is Clifford, and he is not responding to his name right now. He's usually very eager, but I think honestly, the Cuomo might have made him a little nervous. But for those of you, just we're going to alternate between sort of serious and mirth. But and by the way, how about this setup? Okay. Part of my campaign is just to take away the sort of break the fourth wall. This is my office. The JLC stockings, not normally there. They're usually out in the living room. But the JLC I think is pretty cool because my girlfriend is Laura, my dog is Cookie, and now Clifford, so they have to share a stocking. But it feels like some sort of creepy biblical thing. Like if I were running as a Republican, I'd be like, as you can see, my name is JLC. And within my name, as the Lord intended. Now, I am a mass attending Catholic every week, but there is a strain of Christianity that I feel like is ripe for humor, and it's the Republican strain. But as you can see, L and C are held within the JLC as the Lord intended. So she always tries every Christmas to like reverse it. And I go, no, JLC, come on. We're doing this in height order, JLC. It's not my fault. And she tries to do CJL, and it's terrible. JLC, there it is. And then the Christmas tree. Who has a Christmas tree in their office? Guys, not me. Just for this, I thought this will be a fun, festive thing. Christmas is in a week. I'm looking forward to Christmas. Let's pretend like my office is a Christmas decoration festival, but it's normally not. That is it. There it is. That is oh, what do we got? A few questions coming in. Very nice. Thank you. My assistant is providing me questions, and this is the serious part of the hour. So I will get to this first question in a second. I'm too busy making comments about my office. Let's focus on the important stuff. That picture, the caricature behind me, that was made in Florida. It sort of makes me look like a cross between Milton Berle and Chris Rock, but I still really like it. And below that is a program from Dictator for a Day. I keep pointing the wrong way. Dictator for a Day, which was a musical as Trump that I starred in. Now we've got a question. All right. And this is honestly a lot of fun. I had a near panic attack when YouTube was screwing me over when I was trying to start this on time. But do I support Medicare for all? Or should I say, do I support Medicare for all? And this is going to sound like a Politico answer. So I apologize. And as people always get on stage at our different meet and greets and they say, I'm not a politician. And then I'm like, I am. I mean, I've been a politician for a month, but technically I'm a politician. I would move my whole, I don't want to say issue with Medicare for all, because I think our goal should be universal coverage at the most affordable and comprehensive possible. There's no way that full comprehensive medical coverage for all Americans will not be expensive. I think when you see a world that we are in now where, when they had one Rockefeller 100 plus years ago, they basically invented the antitrust movement, and you had muckraking journalists going after it. We now have the equivalent of like 400 Rockefellers, and they're richer than ever. And the inequality is more disproportionate than ever. So clearly taxes on the wealthy can and should be part of what we're doing for people. So I am more a public option type. I know that might sound like a cop-out, but it's impossible for me to separate political feasibility with end goal. And really one of my targeted areas, because of maybe I know pragmatism and incrementalism is deeply offensive to some people on the left, but as much as Medicare for all is an ambitious and worthwhile goal, we don't have it right now. And it doesn't seem like we will be getting it anytime soon. What I would say, though, is I've made elder care a sort of staple of my platform, because I think Republicans, to be honest, I think have taught us one thing as Democrats. It's that patience and persistence can win. If you'd asked anybody, and I had conversations with people less than a decade ago, where it was, well, he's not going to get rid of Roe v. Wade. And that just isn't going to happen. That's alarmist. That's an exaggeration. Sure, maybe he's going to lean a little bit more on the pro-life side to appease his base. And then it went away. And that was a 50-year pursuit by Republicans of incrementally chipping away at a fundamental right. What I think Democrats need to do, and we haven't shown the sort of cohesiveness and the patience for this. And don't get me wrong, I know the answer to this is when somebody is on their deathbed, or somebody is going to die when medicine and healthcare is available to them. I understand. It's the same way the Republicans will pick out a single horrific crime, which is terrible and a tragedy. You don't govern, unfortunately, at the individual case, because then all you'd have is alarm and shock and tragedy, and you'd govern that way. I think just the same way when crime rates are going down, Republicans will just point to the horrific crime that they can say, look, it's terrible. And Democrats claiming crime is going down is just disrespecting this sad tragedy. I think Democrats, if we could adjust our thinking, and I'm not saying this to say we shouldn't have great universal coverage. I just think if we could approach this from a sort of elder care component, a children component, a people with disabilities and special needs component. The reason I bring that up is that you can maybe chip off more coverage and more support if you isolate certain issues like elder care. Make the Republicans go on record as saying we are not for a more robust elder care system. We want to deport more immigrants who do home health care work. We want to not cover home health aides. We want to cut Medicaid. We want to make it more difficult for our seniors. If you can chip off that piece, and I know that's not consolation to the people struggling and suffering right now. And obviously you can walk and chew gum at the same time. We should be things like the Obamacare subsidies, extending those. It's the least we could do. And unfortunately, the Republicans won't allow it. And I think some people will reflexively blame Democrats. I think the messaging has to be Republicans are doing this to you and peeling off voters and targeting the issues so that it may take a generation. And that's the thing that's tough to say to people. It may take a generation for us to get the coverage, the universal coverage that you want to see. But we seem to pick fights every 2 to 4 years over, we don't have it all. So anybody who's not pursuing it all is taking a weak road. And the mindset of the Republicans has always been like, anything we can chip away with is progress, even though to us it's regression. I think we need to have a different mindset. So my approach would be to pick off certain issues and expand coverage robustly. And then in another decade or 15 years, because some of this may involve government programs, you may get to a point. That's why a public option, I think, is a good, fairly popular midpoint to a sort of Medicare for all system. So I'm guessing this is like maybe long-winded for people, but I know nuance is the enemy of politics sometimes, but that's sort of my approach in terms of, do I support Medicare for all? I support, yes, everybody having quality insurance and having it paid for. Yes, I do. Yes. And I got another note. By the way, everybody, if you're listening to this now, I have to get back. I listened to a little. No, I like the substantive questions. I'm sorry if that was long-winded, but I like comedy and I like substance. But remember, jl4nj.com. Go sign up. We're going to need volunteers in January. We're going to need help. I need rides to places. Frankly, those Lyft rides to the other end of the district during snowstorms, kind of pricey. And obviously, donate to jl.com. I see people donating to me who like my YouTube channel. I appreciate that, but I must insist and press you. I will probably say this 3 times an hour. Donate to jl.com. I will move on to my next jokey part, but I want to say this: just having watched the candidates in this race, and the reason I got into this race. Water break. Sorry, guys. They seem like good people. Some of them have a lot of experience. Most of them have sort of some level of public service on their resume, and they all seem like pretty solid people. But I think my reason for running, in addition to the issues, you can see them on my website, but the issues that animate me most are elder care, democracy, climate, AI, and affordability, but in the space of housing, really, because I work as an eviction prevention attorney. So the housing space and seeing the most desperate forms of the affordability crisis is maybe a little bit more. I know people, energy bills and things like that are, everybody's problems are personal and intense, but I've seen sort of the real baseline of the affordability crisis. And the reason I got in is because I was a fan of Joe Biden. Yes, I know. I saw the debate like everybody else in 2024. And, you know, hearing about sort of maybe that he was, cognitively sliding a little faster than people expected. I'm not here to trash Joe Biden. I was a big fan. And I feel like the eye-opening moment for me with President Biden was no victory lap, no messaging, no real support or hallelujahs when he passed some of the most significant climate and infrastructure investment in this country's history. And then we lost. And watching that somebody like Trump, who can command the media and spread hate and lies and bad policy, and we for some reason as a country, he intoxicates a lot of people with his messaging, even if his message is garbage and his results are garbage. And that sort of spoke to me as somebody who's been interested in politics for a long time, sort of a political junkie. Is there a way that I can bring sort of my political interests, my experience as a lawyer, both as a prosecutor and as an eviction prevention attorney, to bear with my skills as a comedian, but more as a social media communicator? Because that's really my career as a comedian was middling. I had some TV credits, I had some ups and downs, but it wasn't until the pandemic when I was reaching millions of people that I sort of sharpened my political satire and started really growing as a comedian and also as just sort of a commentator. And I thought, and I've seen the people in this race, and I genuinely believe that we are lacking the types of voices that we need as a Democratic Party. With the right messaging, there's no way that the accomplishments of the first half of Joe Biden's presidency should have gone unheralded, unrecognized, unsupported. And you can go back to Obama with Obamacare. You know, it was controversial at the time, and people ran from it, and we got destroyed in the midterms. And we were going to lose in the midterms anyway. That's sort of cyclical nature of politics. But Democrats tend to sort of go for something and then not stand up straight and communicate and defend their wins. There's like this apologetic defensiveness to the wins that we get. Like, we're always like, I'm sorry, we're defending people's civil rights, but maybe we can find a middle ground where we don't quite defend people's civil rights. Will that make the mythical diner centrist happy? We do good things. We should shout it, but we need people who can shout it and tell it in a way that people relate to and engage with. And I'm a 46-year-old going on 75 in terms of just how I approach the world. And which is why I think a majority of my subscribers on YouTube are over 60. And they sense the old soul, the old cynical soul in me. But I think we have to defend our territory. And if we don't have good messengers, the message doesn't matter. And I wish that wasn't the case. I would prefer a politics that was 100% substantive. But if we keep wishing for that politics, we will keep losing. We need to find people who are capable of the job, but also capable of communicating, reaching, engaging, and energizing the people who are disillusioned. Now, there's a progressive wing of that. Obviously, Bernie Sanders engages and energizes a lot of people. I guess I'm not as left as Bernie Sanders, but I think the Democratic Party needs people in its different segments who can do this and who can stand up tall, literally, for what we do. So that's sort of why I'm running, because, to quote Liam Neeson, I think I had a particular set of skills that would make me a nightmare for people like Donald Trump. And the last part is not something Liam Neeson said, but that's why I got in. It's not a vanity project. My hardcore comedy fans know how actually disillusioned and angry I am with the comedy business. So this is the idea of prolonging or expanding my comedy career is really not in the cards for me. This is about, I live here. I live in the district. I live in Bloomfield, New Jersey. I care about what's going on. I see a need in the party. Do I have the same types of experience as other people in the party, as other people in this race? In some cases, no. But we've been doing this the same way. And I don't think it's that big a risk to say, a Georgetown educated lawyer who works in housing and has an intimate knowledge of sort of the affordability crisis, who also has built a big social media following, is such a big risk, is as big a risk as it seems. So now that is okay. Yeah, I see. No, and I see what people are saying, and like, yes, I don't want to say I completely agree, but I get it. But I'm for anybody who is, that I'm not left enough. I don't think he can doubt that I can reach people and that I have a strong spine and will not cave. That's all I'll say on that. Or at least I hope I can convince you. So everybody, I feel like a radio DJ. Remember, everybody, go to donatetojl.com. All donations from all Americans are welcome. And jlfornj.com for the general platform and information about me. And we need people to sign up for volunteering and whatnot. But we're hoping to get to 15K tonight. So that would be awesome. It'd be awesome if we get beyond that. But every dollar counts. And I'm trying to push. I've got people in this race with $500,000. I don't even know what they're actually doing with that money, but that is a scary amount. I don't need that much. I need a fraction of that, but I can make it go a long way. And our ad is filming tomorrow, and I'm very excited about that. So we've done the donate plug again. I'm going to have some water. And it turns out, well, now that I'm a New Jersey resident, we started with my roots. Andrew Cuomo spoke up for me in his own unique way as a native New Yorker. And, oh, that's a good idea. Somebody thinks I should just run as Donald Trump. Hello, how are you? How about his speech last night? This is why. Okay, and then Senator Cory Booker is here. Senator Cory Booker is going to kind of welcome me to New Jersey. I don't think he's actually officially endorsed anybody in the race, so he's free to come here and I guess speak his mind. But the Trump speech last night, I've been arguing to people that what we need in the Democratic Party is a unified stance. And because there is one party in this country, whether you think the center left is too centrist or the far left is too far, we need to come to a compromise, not with the other side, not with MAGA. MAGA should be a fringe party. In a functioning, healthy democracy, MAGA is a fringe party. Even if you want to credit people and say, hey, 2016 was such a this or that year. We had a black president. Now we have a woman. I'm terrified. What do you expect me to do? I'm an old grumpy racist. I can't just be going from black guy to woman. What are we, on Mars? Even if you credit that approach in 2016 and that Trump spun a tale that some vulnerable people bought, we're 10 years into the Trump nightmare. Okay, he never let go. He has not stopped dominating politics, even when Joe Biden was actually governing and getting things done. People who can watch that speech last night and go, that's my guy. Yikes. Yikes. That's the only answer at this point. And I know many of us are already there. I'm just sort of trying to clearly articulate when I say come together, I'm talking about Democrats. We have to find a middle path on the correct side of history. And I know some people will say, no compromise. How's no compromise working out? I'm not talking about compromising with MAGA, compromising with an anti-democratic, anti-American party. You're compromising with bad at this point. Let's use very blunt Trump-like words. They're bad. These are bad people. They do bad stuff. They have bad opinions, and it's called bad. And it was not my favorite Michael Jackson album also. I'll be doing more full Trump later. You calm down. But I do think we have this sort of civil war that hasn't stopped in the Democratic Party. And I am of the opinion, I remember having sorry, Mom, I'm going to rat you out a little bit here. I have conversations with my very left friends all the time. And I will say things like, like when Joe Biden won, it's like, or when Hillary won, it's like, well, just, your guy lost. You get it. Can you get on board? And some would not, and some reluctantly, but would say, well, I now know the assignment. The assignment is not Trump. So I've had my say. I'm not happy about it, but I understand that voting not Trump is the key. And then when Mamdani won in New York, I said to my mom, I said, I'd be a big hypocrite if I said, hey, he energized people we need. And that's what I think is missing in terms of the mass communication to Democrats nationwide or independents is we're not in a world where there's a functioning normal Republican Party. But if we keep fighting like and clawing for like this is our chance to take control of the Democratic Party, like it's a crisis, maybe we can finally take control. We should be winning. We have the better people, the better policies. Wherever you range on the left, better than MAGA, clearly. And I just think we need to find some way to agree on the left on a mission and go for it, which is why, as much as this might sound like incrementalism, why I push for sort of clear, definable, incremental steps towards the end goals instead of banners that state the end goal, rally a lot of people, and go nowhere legislatively. That's sort of my philosophy. I don't think it's a sellout philosophy. It's a stay steady, stay dedicated, communicate, make your mission clear, let people know where you stand, stay focused, energize people, and keep moving it forward. As Democrats, I think sometimes we're always looking for the touchdown, the 70-yard touchdown pass. And the Republicans are very content to just grind out a running game and just keep moving forward until they get their goal. And it might take longer, but I think that's how we sort of have to see things, I think. So, yes. Okay, so far I'm liking the comments. JL4NJ.com, everybody. And also, not only JL4NJ.com, donate to JL.com. Big importance that you do that because I'm telling you, folks, some of you know me, some of you maybe don't, some of you maybe think you know me. I'm telling you, I hate asking for money. I do. I hate asking for money. And yet this is the lay of the land. These are the rules we have. And by the way, to be clear, term limits, end partisan gerrymandering, ban stock trading by members of Congress. The end, full stop. I think Democrats have to be about good governance. I'm sorry, I'm doing one of these. This is how you know I'm becoming a politician. I never do this. Why am I doing the Clinton-Obama thumb? Anyway, I think we have a chance. When I listen to people who I can tell are either independents or not too politically active or maybe disillusioned Democrats, good governance is such an easy win for the Democrats right now. And I don't know what we're doing on that front. I know with gerrymandering, I get it. I get what Gavin Newsom did. He was a reaction to Texas. He would have never done what he did had Texas not done what they did. But I think we need to be a party that is loud about good governance, and banning stock trading and term limits, I think, are such a win that we have to take. Because people are getting less and less involved and less believe less and less in their government. And if we can be the first ones to go, no, ABC, let's do it. Just like elder care, just like poor children, just like people with special needs. I'm not saying we do these because they're political weapons. We do them because they're the right thing. But they also happen to be very clear delineating issues that you will look either like the good guy or the bad guy. And in this current climate of politics and social media ADD, good, bad, that's the distinction we have an opportunity to make. And, there was a petition that went around to the candidates about term limits. And it was from, I had one of my advisors look it up. And of course it had been like put out and signed by like 100 Republicans and, 100 Republicans in 2025. I go, wait, something smells fishy. Three-term limit, 6 years. And I said, well, I can't sign that. I just don't believe that's enough time to get the experience, build the relationships. I'm not talking about dying in office at 90, but I thought somewhere between 7 and 10 terms. And I said 10 terms. And I'm sorry, this is now a weird. Oh, yes. Hey, everybody. No, the best place is not on YouTube to donate. The best place is you can mail a check. I know if I'm just saying, if you don't want to be on Act Blue, you can mail a check, and I will, if somebody wants to write what I'm saying in the comments, I'd appreciate it. But if you mail your check to JL for NJ 2026, 225 Ridgewood Avenue, number 8021, Glen Ridge, New Jersey 07028. That's how you donate to the campaign if you don't want to use Act Blue. But the only ways, I mean, I appreciate people have always been generous on YouTube to me just for everything, but specifically for this campaign, go to the donatetojl.com and donate as much as you're able to, because this is a 2-month campaign. There is no like 6 months to build this long, slow march towards victory. It's a sprint. So the money that comes in today is going right to use for mailers, for online ads, for producing my ads. So any and all money you can give now, but if you need to write a check, that's the other way. So once again, it's JL for NJ 2026, and that's who you'd make the check out to. 225 Ridgewood Avenue, number 8021, Glen Ridge, New Jersey 07028. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Okay. So I think I was in the middle, but when somebody asks money, that's how you know I'm becoming a politician. It's like squirrel, money. But anyway, I've been keeping Cory Booker waiting. How rude of me. Sorry, Senator Booker. Please, could you come in and talk to the people real briefly with your big, beautiful optimism?
Hi, everybody. I have not endorsed a candidate in this race yet because I see a beautiful bounty of progressive warriors and fighters who will take the fight to MAGA with dignity and strength and grace. I could name every single candidate running for this seat and where they went to college, who their first sweetheart was, and what their favorite poem in English class was, and recite every verse of those poems. I have a tremendous memory, but I don't want to do that right now. What I will tell you is we have to fight MAGA. Now, I recently got wedded to a beautiful, wonderful woman, and that's why I haven't been able to endorse anyone just yet. But I will say this. When I look at this awesome field of candidates, people who have served their communities, people who have served in Congress, people who have fought hard for all that we need as Democrats, I do not see a candidate who stands taller than J.L. Covan. Now, J.L., I am known as light and bright in some communities, but J.L. is darn near translucent on the scale of the African American community. People don't know that he's actually half Haitian because his mother is Irish American and the color of bright printer paper. Do not get her in the sun. But I think that between his stature, between his dedication to working with our underhoused communities, but mostly because of his tremendous engagement and humor online. This is a true story. I once walked by JL in New York City many years ago, and JL tweeted at me 5 minutes later and said, I think it was cool that Cory Booker and I did not acknowledge each other in the street. Just two superstars going about their business and leaving each other alone. And I replied to him, you should have said hello. But now I realize he was just a very cool customer. And now I want to repay that with a most strong and robust endorsement for my fellow Garden State resident, J.L. Covan. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.
Wow, guys. I don't know if I can really say anything better than bringing Andrew Cuomo and Cory Booker together. And that's just the first hour of the JL Telethon. I don't know. I don't know that anybody else in this race is doing that. And I'm a newbie at politics. You wait till I'm a seasoned vet what I can do. So thank you, Senator Booker. I appreciate you. Thank you. Those were kind words, and that is true. That is actually true. I walked by him in like 2018 in the middle of the city and then tweeted, and he saw the tweet like 5 minutes later and was like, "You should have said hello." And I was like, "Oh, very cool that he responded." So I am sort of legally obligated. Obviously, everybody, as you're watching, please, jlfornj.com. Go spread it with friends. If you have friends in Jersey, show it to them, but donate to JL. And I will continue to read. For those of you, I know some people don't want to join Act Blue. That's fine. JL for NJ 2026, 225 Ridgewood Avenue, number 8021, Glen Ridge, New Jersey, 07028. That is where you send your checks for the campaign if you don't want to join Act Blue. The money is the same, whether it's in check or digital. But everybody, we're trying to get to 15K tonight. I know that sounds like a lot, but we've got really ambitious plans. I'm telling you, if you are a fan of my comedy, if you're a fan of me, if you're just learning about me now, or I'm telling you, this is not wasted money and this is not wasted time. I really do believe I have now seen the machine, the political machine of New Jersey. I've seen the candidates I'm up against, and I cast no aspersions on their character or their abilities, but I know that I am best suited for where we are in politics right now. And I've said it to some town halls. I said, maybe NJ11 isn't going to be the seat that says, let's take a little bit of a risk. Though I would argue picking somebody who can't communicate and engage in 2026 is the risk, not picking the person who can. I just think at this point, NJ11 has an opportunity. And the more people I meet, the more people come up to me and they say, you are very refreshing and you are speaking to things that we need to address as a party, both on policy, but really on the messaging and the messenger. We have a chance in this district to send somebody, me, that is able to generate more than just what their seat is. Obviously, my first priority is my district, but they used to say all politics is local, and that's true. But I think under Trump, all politics is national. With social media, all politics is national. So you need people who can engage and grow the party, not just, I do for my district, I vote the right way. That's all important. But there needs to be that other component. And saying let another district find the person who will do that, we don't have to. We have the person right here. So jlfornj.com, donate to jl.com. And now, this is so awful. I'm sorry, guys, that I have to do this. Give me 15 seconds. I've been ordered out of the room. Donald Trump is apparently ordered by like Mar-a-Lago Fiat that he gets to address this group once an hour. I'm sorry about this. Give me 10 seconds. Why the hell are you in here? What the hell is going on? I'm trying to do, you're supposed to let me talk. When you're president, you get to talk. And you're not letting me talk. So let me talk, you son of a bitch. Watch your language, Mr. President. Oh, boy. Well, look who it is. If it isn't the most sad and pathetic chat, is this a chat room? Is this like one of these Craigslist things or one of these creepy things that Jeff Epstein used to try to get me on? How are we doing, everybody? Hello, hello. I will tell you this right now. This is a true story. I wouldn't support JL Cowban, whatever his name is. I wouldn't support him if he were the last Republican on earth. Listen to it. I don't know if you can hear this. There's dogs literally barking because he is a dog. He's like a dog. I always say people are like dogs. He is like a dog. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I hope you all saw my great speech last night. Who the hell saw my speech? How good was that speech? Is anybody talking about my speech? Thank you. Oh, yes, Reality Redemption. I know Reality Redemption. They're radical left people. They're in a place called Kingman, Arizona. You ever heard of Kingman, Arizona? I went to Kingman, Arizona once. Not a single king was there. I said, this town is fake news. This town is fake news, and it's a horrible place. It's a nasty place. No, it's actually a nice place. It's like 85% Republican there. They're represented by Paul Gosar, who is actually one of the people who's so MAGA. He sort of scares me. I say, thank you, Gosar.
like Gozer. He sounds like remember Gozer from Ghostbusters? That's who Paul Gozer is. He's a nasty guy, but he's on our side, so we like that. We like that. We love it when they're on our side. But this J.T. Chazet character who's trying to run for Congress in New Jersey, okay, I don't like having him so close to my club in Bedminster. It's a beautiful club, and he's a horrible guy. So he wants you to go to jlfornj.com. You should go there. You're going to see a guy who's very weak, always talking about the elders, and he's talking about regulating AI smartly and responsibly. I like to regulate AI not smartly and not responsibly because they're giving me a little bit of a taste. That little guy from Nivea, I thought didn't they make like skincare products and now they switched to AI, right? Nivea, right? That's who they are. They do that. They're like, hey, would you like aftershave? No, sir. Would you like our artificial intelligence? That sounds better. I don't need shaving products from you. But I will say this, if you stand with me, okay, then you shouldn't go to donate-to-jl.com. Okay. If you are pro MAGA, you won't go to that site. If you want to upset me, if you want to make your president very sad, okay, imagine sending a person who does the world's, don't ever tell him I said this, who does the world's best impersonation of me. Imagine sending him to Congress. Imagine what he would do there, how he would rip me apart, how he would stand tall. He's even taller than me. I'm tall, but he's a tall guy, and he's like Fetterman, but not sloppy. He would show up in a suit. He'd be kind of, he'd be, he's a big-shouldered guy, to be honest. If he was Republican, I'd be trying to make him president in 2028. To be honest, he's got those big shoulders. He walks in, he's all tall. He's like, "Hello, sir. How are you, sir?" And I go, "Boy, oh boy, this guy's almost as tall as my son, Brendan." My wife Melanoma has Brendan, and he's a big guy, and he's a who? This thing is saying low power mode. At least, I thought it said white power mode, and I was like, we love that. We love that. We love that. But I think you should go to donate-to-jl.com. Only if you hate me. If you go there and you donate money to his campaign, I'll know that you're nasty people. Okay. But I want to know, I'm looking at this chat. And by the way, I have to do a certain, excuse me. They're taking away the power. They're taking away my power. Excuse me, tech person. Your Apple product, okay, is losing battery very strongly right now. So if we could just get that little battery, a little bit, we love batteries. We love batteries very strongly. But we have to do, it's called charge. Isn't charge a crazy thing? You can charge a credit card. You can charge in basketball when like one of the blacks bumps into another one, they fall down. They say, charge, that's a charge. And then you charge our devices. Nobody even talks about how there's so many charges. There's so many, and then you get criminal charges when you have a radical left prosecutor like LeBron James in New York. So it's a real sad thing what they're doing. It's a sad thing. But I don't know. You people aren't very nice. I don't think you people. When are you going to do a telethon for your campaign? Oh, you're asking me. No, I don't need to do telethons. This is what like some humble turd like JB Pritzker, what's his name? JB. What's it? The initials, by the way. We got all these initials people now. We got JB Pritzker in Chicago. He's a big guy. You got JL Cardigan in Jersey. I don't like these initial people. I don't like when they do it because it's like, what the hell are you hiding? Why do you have to have initials? What the hell's your name? I'm not DJ Trump. Okay, if I was in an 80s sitcom, I'd be DJ Trump. It's like, hey, DJ Trump's here. We love DJ. No, it's called Donald John. So we're looking at sending a contribution as we speak. You guys are the best. Wait, you're not sending, excuse me. No, I'm Donald Trump. Why are you sending a contribution to JL? He's a horrible guy. Oh, JD Vance. We make an exception for JD Vance because JD is also what lawyers get when they graduate from, where do lawyers graduate from? Anybody in the chat, where do lawyers graduate from? Do they medical school when they get there? Thank you. Okay, we like that. Thank you for the tech. Thank you for the tech stuff. Now, I have to get out of here because I think Ivanka is coming over, so I just want to hang out with her a little bit because, it's very relaxing to hang out with your very beautiful, sexy daughter. But I don't want this JT character to win at all. I don't want him to win. I see a lot of candidates in this race. They're all nasty Democrats. Let's be honest. They're all nasty Democrats. But each one of them, I think, I can work with him. I can destroy that person. I can intimidate them. It'll be beautiful. And then this guy, JT Kovan, JL Kovan, whatever his name is, he shows up. He's a big tall guy. He doesn't give a crap about what I say. He dishes it back to me, but people also sort of listen to him. And he went to like Georgetown Law School. I guess I don't know. That's where Tiffany went. How good can Georgetown Law School when Marsha Maple's daughter, who I don't even know very well, went there because she's not the brightest. She's not the brightest baby mama baby in the baby mama crib. So anyway, I don't really like you people. I might come back. I'm probably going to come back, but I think I'm going to get the hell out of here. So bye-bye. You're all nasty people. And please don't send JL to Washington, D.C. because he's a big guy and he doesn't take any shit, to be honest. Can I say that? Is YouTube doing censorship? Okay. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to let this attorney, comedian, congressional loser come back in. Bye-bye. Wow. Did not expect that. Did not expect that. Oh, what happened? Oh boy. Oh boy. Hold on, everybody. This is trickier. And by the way, I'm still blaming YouTube for not doing the chat on my screen. I wouldn't be doing the multiple screen. I feel like I'm in Secaucus doing review for the NBA. Hold on. Now I can talk in my, hey, Trump just left, but this keeps going blank, and I think it's not caught up. Thank you, technical support. Now, in the second hour, everybody, look at that. We're already in the second hour. No big deal. In the second hour, Elon Musk is supposed to join us. It keeps going dim. Did you change it so it doesn't like fade?
No, I think maybe this.
Oh, boy. Isn't that the way? Look at that. When you charge it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. That's Laura. That's the L in the JLC over there. Can I say how much I've raised? I can get updates on that, but I don't have the actual numbers in front of me. I'm going on faith, everybody. And I don't know why I do that. I always mock it, but I'm in church every Sunday at 8:30 in the morning. Just me, the tall, dreary-looking dude in the back of church, just going, let's have another good week, Lord. Last week wasn't so great. But Elon Musk is going to join us this hour, as is Don Jr., the recently engaged. Can anybody tell me in the chat where he is, who his wife is? Can anybody tell me that in the chat? I'd appreciate it. This can be interactive. I just, imagine you're my staff and I'm like, I need to know the important issues of the day. Who's Don Jr. engaged to? And when does she become the ambassador to Greece? Oh, you love it when I sing. All right. I don't know much, but I know I love it when I sing. And that may be all I need to know. Sometimes the mic doesn't pick up the Aaron Neville-ness of my singing voice. So hopefully. Gotta push so maybe your manager can check. I do. Sometimes the messages, I'm like, no, Michael Craig, catch up. It's not Kim Guilfoyle anymore. They shipped her off to Greece. He has a new fiance. Now that he's a crypto grifting mogul. But Elon Musk will join us this hour. Don Jr. will join us this hour. This is a power-packed hour, guys. But I do want to, and it says Governor Phil Murphy will be here also. So I guess I'm getting the Jersey heavy hitters. Now, he's endorsed Brendan Gill, who managed his campaign. But you got to be open to, just because he endorsed, it doesn't mean I can't still have the governor on to share his wisdom with us. But I do want to talk about a book. I know this is what you get when you get jail. You got 4 hours. I want to talk about a book. This book is called There Is No Place for Us by Brian Goldstone. Now, I think I am lucky to live in a blue state. Because blue states generally range from generous to very generous. They're thoughtful. They somehow, the country and the red America doesn't seem to have. But Bettina Anderson, thank you, Georgie.
it's tough to read a name when it's like all of it smushed together. But thank you to the person who told me Bettina Anderson. That's helpful information for when Don Jr. shows up. But when I read this book, which Obama just picked for his like best books of the year, and I told the author way early in this year, I said, this is going to be on a lot of best of the year lists. And then I told him like a month ago, I said, I bet you Obama copies me. I named it my book of the year. And then Obama put it on his book of the year. So I don't know, guys, if we're Obama fans and I'm ahead of Obama on book choices, aren't I kind of in a way better than Obama? Isn't that where we're kind of looking for? I mean, I am half Haitian, half Irish, which is the poor man's half Kenyan, half Irish. So I don't know, folks. If you go to bed tonight donating to me and saying, I just had this Obama vibe, fine. Adam Sandler meets Obama. I don't know. That seems like a candidate who'd be pretty darn popular in current America. Okay. And now I'm doing this. So I've gone from the Clinton thumb to whoever does this. I'm doing this. And then I'm doing this. And I have to say, Brian Goldstone's book is a great book. And I'm so glad that JL knew that before me. And that's why I'm supporting him for NJ Telethon. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guys, I didn't even know he was going to be here. Obama just endorsed me. I feel like we should just have a 2-hour party right now. But this book opened my eyes. There are very few books that I would say changed my life. This book changed my life. It made the housing crisis very real to me. And that's a testament to the author. It's not like I was there. That's a testament to the author. And that is in part why I started pursuing work in eviction prevention. But it takes place in Georgia. And in blue states, we have, like I said, a wide range of support for people. And working in this field in a blue state, and this is not meant to denigrate anybody who I've come across, but it is a pretty generous state. I'm barred in New York, so my work is in New York, but it is a pretty generous state. That doesn't mean that people, that doesn't mean the rent isn't too high. And I can get into all sorts of issues where, because the federal government guarantees through things like Section 8 up to a certain rent level, you'll often see apartments that I will say, how is this going for $3,000 a month? And it's like, oh, it's really a $1,300 apartment based on quality and location. But because they can get X amount of rent, they just charge the maximum. And, Republicans will always blame individuals. They'll always blame individuals for grift, or, except for the president, grift or scamming the system. And that's why we're in debt. Nobody will ever say, what about the people who own hundreds or thousands of apartments who are charging top dollar just because the federal government will cover it, even though that's not really an apartment on the market that should be worth that much, given how decrepit it is or how poorly it's kept up or the safety or lack thereof in the neighborhood. So nobody ever kind of addresses it from that perspective, which is why you send people to places like Washington to set national policy to protect more people. Once again, you go to represent your district, but that doesn't mean you can't do significant things for the country as well. And when I read about in this book, and I just have to recommend, I've recommended it so much on social media in my reviews of books, but I compared it to the movie Uncut Gems in terms of just the feeling of constant dread and panic and the subtitle of the book is Working and Homeless in America, which is, I read a book many years ago that won the Pulitzer called Invisible Child. And the author of that book had said she chose a child named Dasani. And I remember I had read the articles in the New York Times. It was a series of articles. And then a few years later, the full book came out, won the Pulitzer. And I remember reading the book, and in either the prologue or the afterward, she said, I chose a child because I wanted to reach lawmakers. And I knew if I picked an adult, they'd go with that same excuse of personal choice, personal responsibility. And they can blame an adult as if every adult is given the same exact upbringing and opportunities. And if you don't make it, it's on you. picking a child was a way to sort of say, well, even the most heartless Republican isn't going to say, yeah, but this 10-year-old should have known better. And that was her goal with the book. And I don't know that it changed anything, but it changed me. And then this book changed me in a big way. And it made me sort of look and say, in Georgia, as Brian lays it out, Georgia is so like harsh, so pro landlord, so pro private equity, so pro and so anti-tenant and anti-working poor that you feel like being a lawyer in Georgia in this area feels like, well, my options are, did the landlord commit a crime? Okay, option B, prayer. It almost feels that bad. Oh, great. A neighbor or a charity showed up to help us out. I mean, it is so ruthless that I couldn't help but get involved. And then I saw that obviously a blue state, and it's also ironic that places like New York, like New Jersey, are wealthier than a lot of states, and they give more to their people, and they give more to the federal coffers. And I'm sorry to pick fights with other states, and I will say, just as a reminder, donate to jl.com. Anything and everything you can give, bring friends on over to the chat. It's comedy, it's policy. They can meet maybe a future congressman, maybe not, but I hope so. And jl4nj.com is the general website. But I think we get too much of it, like the states like ours, like New Jersey, that put way more in than we get back. On a certain level, I think that's right. We are a country. People have different needs. People are struggling in other places. Just like we all believe on an individual basis, the rich should pay more. They're paying less now, which is weird. We have more insanely rich people than ever before, and they're paying less. So even as a percentage of income, we're not even keeping up with that, let alone charging a higher percentage for the fewer and fewer, whoever is going to be the first trillionaire. But I do certainly understand that states with more can contribute more. But what you see is this kind of demonization of blue states. Nobody ever saying, I mean, some politicians make the case for blue states when they're from blue states, but maker and taker states. And I think it hasn't stuck. If Republicans had this argument, I can guarantee you calling the states they don't like taker states would stick. They just have a way of communicating with their people that make like negative labels stick and positive labels stick. But I think there is something to this where it's like certain states, whether it's like a Mississippi, oh no, we don't want to expand Medicaid coverage to our state. Okay. I don't know why you're being cruel to your own citizens, but at some point the distinction needs to be made and say, yeah, look at this. The states with more give more, both to the country and to their own people. And it seems to be working. And we need to be making that a brand, a national brand. Now they can say, we don't want to be like San Francisco. We don't want to be like New York City. I mean, and they're never talking about inequality. That's the thing. If they were talking about inequality, but they were talking about like with their their non-values, what their values of creating wealth and sending money to your state. So a state like New Jersey, I think we need people who can sort of make the case and start to really frame this issue aggressively, because I don't think we're arguing to be greedier than other states, but watching other states like it's okay to demonize blue states. Meanwhile, some soybean farmer who votes 3 times for Trump and then finally realizes tariffs are hurting him, they get a 60-minute story. But when we contribute lots to the coffers and we can't even get our infrastructure, Donald Trump wants to hold our infrastructure hostage. Where's the 60-minute story? What's fair is fair. And I get it. We still have this romanticized version that a real American is a farmer who's tilling the soil. And I don't disrespect that. But this idea of like, yeah, we're also Americans and we contribute a lot. So how about some fairness for us? That would be my sort of aggressive argument. This guy seems very conservative. Yeah, sure. I guess if that's okay, BTB 9607, I assure you that I'm not. And maybe you just picked up on my, 67th minute of talking, but But thank you for my laptop is an insult to this country. Okay. Sorry, I'm focusing on that. It's the comic habit of me to find the one person trolling me and to be like laser focused on that. JL will laser focus on problems because he's done that for so long as a comedian. Now, yeah, that's weird. I feel like that's weird talking about eviction prevention and how we should be supporting more citizens as a conservative talking point. Did I miss something there? Is that the new conservative talking point? More benefits for our poor citizens? Is that what's going on in MAGA when I'm not around? Are they all about helping the poor? Did they crack open a Bible recently and start reading the actual words of Jesus and not just Joel Osteen? I don't know. I didn't think what I was saying was that conservative, but hey, conservatism is, I guess, in the eye of the YouTube commenter. So, guys, before I bring in Governor Phil Murphy, who many of you may not be familiar with, but this should be a real treat for the New Jersey folks in the room, I will say this. Donate to JL.com. I've been seeing a lot of nice comments and positivity, and I really appreciate it, but we got to keep it coming. Because this is a big night for the campaign. We've got a lot of expenses that will keep us in this race. I am telling you, if I'm in this race, I gain ground every day I breathe in this race. Every time I meet voters, I gain ground. I wish it was a 6-month campaign. I might have delayed this telethon for another month, but it's urgent now. We got the holidays coming up, and then it's just month of January, and then it's already been sort of configured to really favor some of the heavy hitters, but I'm telling you, I would not lie to you. When I show up to events, when I talk, I just see a light go on in people. Like, oh, wow, I didn't realize a regular person with ideas and passion and the ability to communicate was going to show up here. That's crazy. So Governor Phil Murphy, unbelievable that you're here. Thank you for joining us. I know you're a lame duck governor, but it still means a lot that you're here.
JL, I have, of course, endorsed my campaign manager, Brendan Gill, the Essex County Commissioner. He's a talented guy. I've known him for many years. A lot of people think it's weird that I didn't even consider endorsing my Lieutenant Governor, Tahisha Way. But I've just known Brendan for so long, and I knew that he would be the right guy to go into the office. But I have to say, I do find you to be, as I've always said after tragedies in New Jersey, Jersey strong. We're Jersey strong here. Okay. I'm also Goldman Sachs strong. I'm extremely wealthy, but I'm Jersey strong first. And I think that you are Jersey strong as well. So even though I haven't endorsed you, Brendan Gill's a tough guy, but don't read that article that came out about him this week. I don't know if he should be that tough, to be honest, but you seem like a tough guy. And I think that if Brendan Gill wasn't in this race, I would be willing to ignore my Lieutenant Governor and endorse you. So good luck with the rest of the race. You're really energizing people. You're not quite as charismatic and slick as I am, but boy, oh boy, I hope you do well because I think you can bring a lot to the state of New Jersey. You're Jersey tough. Thank you. We're going to get through this.
Wow. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty proud of the endorsements I'm racking up. I knew he wouldn't endorse me. He's already officially endorsed Brendan Gill. But to have Governor Phil Murphy even stop by tells you what this campaign is doing right now. And it's good. We're doing good. So I want to see if there are any questions. Do Michael Caine? I haven't done Michael Caine. I haven't done Michael Caine in a little while. I haven't done Michael Caine in a long time. People always say they try to bring these ones out that I did like 6 years ago. I'm not quite there with the Michael Caine right now. But hey, BTB, yes, this is what it's about. BTB, you control me because you donated. Do you see it? It's like a politician getting thrown in a dunk tank. You can, if you donated, we're good. So we are okay. 5K so far. We're on pace, everybody. Now we're on pace. Let's pick up the pace, shall we? But yeah, we're doing all right. Thank you for the update. Now, any questions? Oh, BTB says he donated 1 penny. Unbelievable. 1 penny. I take that back. 1 penny is not the minimum amount you get to troll me. Though I do think it's weird to just take the time. I do appreciate the trolling, to take the effort to donate 1 penny. We don't even make pennies anymore because they're literally not worth the effort. So I appreciate that you're bringing pennies back. Okay. Did I get the Oh, Robbie Mills, did I get the package delivered to my PO box for Christmas? I don't know. I haven't been to my PO box yet today. I'm kind of busy, but we'll get it. We'll get it this weekend. We do at least a weekly check at the PO box. So thank you. Those weren't kind of the questions I was looking for, but yeah, anybody, if you're out there, if you've ever enjoyed what I do, if you enjoy my humor, the more the merrier. Please donate what you can. Yeah, donate to jl.com. Now, we talked about there is no place for us, and it's already 8:20. And I know that Elon Musk has a hard out. He has to, I think he said he has to like fly somewhere in outer space and donate semen somewhere. So I'm going to be back in 1 minute, not even 1 minute, but I have to leave. But Elon Musk is going to be back here very shortly. So just stay tuned, stay with us. Elon Musk coming up after this. I have no idea what he's going to say. Not a big fan of the man, but you know, this is a big opportunity. He's a big figure. A lot of eyeballs will be on this. So let's go see what Elon Musk is going to say. And remember, donate to jl.com. Oh boy, this is such a sad room. Oh boy, it's a big telethon for sort of a politician that I'm not certainly supporting. It's a I heard that this person like was running for office, and he is he hasn't been too nice to me, to be honest, online. He's sort of like rude. He doesn't know comedy. I know comedy. I sort of hang out with Joe Rogan, and he laughs at me all the time. In fact, people have been laughing at me like my whole life. So it's kind of I know comedy. I know comedy, and I just when I heard a comedian was running for office, I thought to myself, oh, that is sort of cool, I guess. Like maybe he'll be cool and like not into cancel culture. But then he's like this sort of like super woke guy. And I heard that he's biracial. And my father told me never to trust a biracial person because he was racist. Okay, nobody's laughing. I don't know. Nobody's laughing. And by the way, I will not be donating a single dollar or Ethereum coin to this very disgusting campaign because he's sort of like too woke, so I can't support him. But I think anybody in this chat who wants to support him, I think you should go to donate to jl.com, because just like I hacked the voting machines, I'm going to hack Act Blue and find out everybody who donated to JL, and then I'm going to expose you by driving a beautiful Cybertruck with all of your names written on the Cybertruck, so everybody can see that you're very woke and that you're supporting a completely terrible person for office. So thank you. Yes, yes, Cookie is not running this campaign. That is not true. And somebody said worst Michael Caine impression ever. I'm not doing a Michael Caine impression, so that's like not cool. You don't even know what I'm doing, by the way. Somebody wants to say Ron DeSantis. Okay, well, I'm richer than Ron DeSantis, so no, you're not going to see Ron DeSantis right now. Maybe he'll show up later, but he's still looking for his like white Dallas Cowboy cheerleader boots. So, does anybody have any questions for the richest person in the world? Um, I don't know. Where's Michael Caine? Imagine seeing Elon, me, in a Tesla hat and thinking it was Michael Caine, and then being rude to me instead of me being rude to you. Like, I could be so rude to you, and I'm not, because I'm actually a nice person. If you don't ask people who know me and my 38 baby mamas, and I do have to actually leave soon because I'm meeting a spaceship that has specifically requested my semen to populate their planet. So, like, nobody's asking JL Covan to do that because he's not as cool as me. So, basically, who has a question? How much am I happy with? How much I've improved government efficiency? Thank you. That's a good joke. Jacko, 1999. You don't have to call names to people in the chat, okay? It's unbelievable. Some people, this is the kind of thing that I was trying to get rid of at Doge, people being nasty. But we did make the government efficient because what better way to make government efficient than to eliminate government? Now it can't do anything, and that's the most efficient usage of government. And we can start to form with Peter Thiel, my libertarian sort of utopia, where it's just UFC and tech bros and the Tate brothers and totally hot women who only love tech bros and UFC, and we will make a great world. And that's what we're going to do. If we have to do it on another planet, we can do that. But actually, okay, somebody said, my Michael Caine impression. Oh, Mr. Wayne, Arthur, you don't do that bloody for me, Mr. Wayne. I don't know. That's, I haven't done a Michael Caine in a while, but but somebody requested RFK Jr., and I can assure you that RFK Jr. Will be here to discuss, how unhealthy JL is. So I have to go now, work on interplanetary travel, but I think JL is going to be back here in like a second. So it was not a pleasure talking to all of you. I have to go. And remember, don't go to donatetojl.com, because the closer he gets to Washington, D.C., then the worse my life will be. Okay, comedy. Oh boy. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, in my apartment. Did not expect that, did not see that coming. Got some tension in the chat. Obviously, we wanted this to be a place of peace and not name calling. We're supposed to all be on the same side, though I would expect some trolls to get in here, but it seemed like we bounced back with the mic. We brought it all together with Elon. Do your Michael Caine impression. Do Arnold McSchwarzenegger. Sometimes it feels like people from my comedy past are coming in. They're like, do that thing you did in 2007, please. Yes, DJT, for anybody who's new, DJT is Donald Trump Jr. He will be here very shortly. This is his hour. He is going to be headlining this hour. Donald Trump said he did not want to be here for this hour. He was disgusted in the first hour with people. So Donald Trump Jr. will be headlining this part. But that is a good point. RFK Jr., I just got a call that he wants to appear. We're going to have to bump. No, we don't have to bump anybody. Robert Kennedy Jr. will be here shortly. So before he shows up, obviously, I think it's important that everybody go to jlfornj.com and please donate to jl.com. All donations are welcome, and it keeps me in this race. Like I can tell you, we're making moves, and we've got our ad tomorrow, and I think the ad is going to do some serious work for this campaign. I'm not kidding you. So any and all donations. If you've got friends that are fans of mine and maybe they don't know I'm running, just cue them into this. I will take the donations. All you have to be is an American citizen to donate. And I will take a donation if you think I'm funny, if you've liked my videos, if I ever opened a door for you, and you're like, I'll give them something for that. All matters. All donations matter. They all go towards fueling this campaign, but whatever your reason is, they're all good by me. Thank you. Thank you, Betsy Lentz. Thank you. It's Gatsu. Beautiful. Thank you. Keep them coming. I'm sorry, Vintage Vids. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear RFK Jr., but like when I have an opportunity to engage with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, I'm going to do it. Okay. Like when I'm in Congress, I'm not going to have the opportunity to just say, screw it. I don't need to talk to him. I'm going to grill him. I might even do a full pull-up. I got to be honest with you guys, though. The athlete in me hates watching Pete Hegseth and them do pull-ups. Pete Hegseth doesn't really do any pull-ups, but RFK Jr. for a 70-year-old man, I'm sorry that I have to admit this, pretty strong for a 70-year-old guy. I hate to admit this because people will critique his pull-up form, but I'm like, he did like 7 real ones before he started cheating a little bit. And right now I had shoulder surgery and it's been a while since I did pull-ups, and I want to get back to that. And obviously I weigh probably 2 RFK Juniors right now, but still, I give the devil their due. I'm not going to sit here going like, that's not even a pull-up. At 70, if I can pull myself up from a chair, I will be like, pretty good day. I'm 6'7", 290. My trajectory, can go one of 2 ways. I'm either trying to be Dwayne Johnson and get back on the health track, or I'm headed towards Fetterman Lane. I'm trying to avoid being the next John Fetterman physically. So thank you, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful words. Beautiful. Thank you. Please. Thomas Cox, that plan to donate. I hope you do it quickly. That is very generous of you. Thank you. Now, I guess without further ado, do you mind if I take another break and we bring on RFK Jr. and you can ask any health questions or any personal questions? I think he's a pretty open guy. And then we'll get back to the issues, because the next hour we've got RFK Jr. and we've got Don Jr. It's the junior hour. But after that, we're going to talk some serious stuff with Cornel West, and we're going to talk democracy and how I think what we need to do seriously. I don't want this to all be jokes. It's 4 hours. I can intersperse some serious talk, and I'm asking you to bring some donations. But if you like the RFK Jr., donate to the campaign, donate to JL.com, because this one's going to hurt me a little bit. So, all right, Secretary, come on in.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I am here because I am telling you that the candidate that you're talking to right now is somebody who actually received a flu shot and a COVID booster in the last 6 weeks. This is not somebody we can trust with our country's health. He had grilled salmon tonight with a plate of broccoli just to hide the fact that he ate cookies for lunch. I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him, and thanks to the testosterone shots I'm currently taking, I can throw him quite far. Does anybody have any questions for me? Because I will talk for a while. There used to be a guy on the New York City subway system when I was growing up, and he would walk into the train with a saxophone, and he would start blaring on it, not playing any real music. And he would say, "Give me some money and I'll stop playing." That's sort of how I view my voice. If you make generous donations to JL at donatetojl.com, I may stop speaking, but right now you're going to have nightmares as you listen to me. Now, a lot of people are talking to me about Olivia Newsy, who I may or may not have had an affair with, but I am very faithful to my wife, Cheryl Hines.
even though I found out she was not the heiress to the Heinz ketchup fortune, which really, I have to be honest, really upset me because I'm a Kennedy and I wanted to link up with another rich family. But it turns out she has never even made one bottle of ketchup. So she's kind of a liar, even though she never actually said to me, I just assumed it. Wouldn't you? Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Wouldn't you assume? Now I'm in talking to Congress mode because I know JL is very tall, and if he's sitting in one of those seats, he's going to be even taller. Excuse me. If your wife was named Heinz and was rich, wouldn't you assume she was the heiress to the Heinz ketchup fortune? I'm a Kennedy. People are right to, and I'm rich. People are right to assume that I am a Kennedy, as in the famous Kennedys, not the Kennedy Fried Chicken family. So it wasn't wrong of me to assume that Cheryl was part of the Heinz family. And when she didn't correct that, it was like a lie. And so what I did was cheat on her as revenge. So I was really the wronged party, but I have been faithful to Cheryl ever since we straightened this out 3 days ago. So I am celebrating 72 hours of fidelity, and I would appreciate if the people in this chat would show me respect for reaching such a moral milestone while also keeping our families and children healthy with steady diets of raw milk, leeches, and bathing in toxic sewage. So are there any other questions from this clearly biased group of people? I'm looking for people. I'm going to keep, I don't see many donations going in, so I'm going to keep talking. This guy, JL, I would love nothing more than for him to be in Congress, and I would challenge him to a pull-up contest because I just heard him say that post-shoulder surgery, which he wouldn't have needed if he was on a steady diet of leeches and raw milk, he wouldn't. He would be doing pull-ups right now. I can't wait to challenge him to a pull-up contest in Congress next year. I'll do it. Excuse me, my throat really hurts. I don't know why. This is a family program, so I can't take my shirt off right now. My testosterone-fueled nipples might poke your eye out. I never said my strength was natural. It's just healthy. Leeches, raw milk, and high levels of testosterone injections keep me young. What is the worm? Is the worm, sir? What is that question? I'll do a Michael Caine impression. Master Wayne! Master Wayne! I promised your parents I would take care of you. I promised them. Some people just want to see the world burn. That was an incredible Michael Caine impression. I hope I brought us all together with that. So, at the risk of going completely mute for the rest of the event, I am getting a text from Cheryl asking me where I am. And the answer is JL's apartment. And she said, who's JL? And I said, imagine if Larry David were taller, had more hair, and was even more miserable. And she said, that sounds like a nightmare. And I said, it is. And I'm busy talking to all his weird subscribers and supporters as he's trying to raise money. So I'm going to get out of here right now. But wait, one more question. Would President Trump's horse dewormer for COVID affect me being head of health? I actually, when I had a worm in my brain, I actually went and jammed a needle of horse dewormer into my skull. And I did it in the middle of the gym, not wearing a shirt in the middle of a pull up. And it worked. So I am very happy to say that it worked, and I endorse it. And I think it would have no effect on me being Secretary of Human Health Services. Okay. Now I'm going I don't do an Elon impression. So I have to go and take a Luden's cough drop. Everybody knows that Luden's is the best brand of cough drop because the more like candy your cough drop tastes, the more effective it is. Good night, everybody. All right. Wow. That was an experience, I think. Do we agree? What did we think of RFK Jr.'s? Who's been the best so far? Who's been everybody's favorite? I just want to know, just who am I connecting with? How will I use my performance chops to stand out in Congress? No, seriously, for a moment. The serious is always welcome. How will I use my performance chops to stand out in Congress? I don't view it necessarily as performance necessary, but I think having a quick wit is really never a bad thing if you know when to dispense with it. I would, obviously using modern media, social media, I don't consider myself as much of a troll. I think sometimes what Democrats get into is like a tit for tat trying to troll people. Now, Gavin Newsom, what people I think don't recognize about Newsom, and I think he's done some very fun stuff and a lot of people have enjoyed it, and it's fighting fire with fire, and I understand all that. But I do think some of it is the irony of Gavin Newsom. It's like, hey, he's this very slick guy and he tries everything. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing, but like he tried a podcast where he interviewed like the worst of the worst on the right, like probably to appeal to some of those people who like the performative bipartisanship kind of angles. But I think there is a little bit of an irony, like, whoa, Gavin Newsom said that. Like Gavin, obviously nobody knew who I was relative to Gavin Newsom, but it's like he's doing things I was doing for years. But I get it. We like to see people getting in the mud a little bit. I think it's more organic for me. So I think being humorous, being biting without being disrespectful unless called for, would be sort of my natural calling card. I don't know that I would have to be like, I'm going to do a bit right now, but I know what people want me to say, which is if I were grilling some, Kash Patel. How about this, everybody? We want to role play? I'm not Donald Trump. He'll be here later, but I will do my best impersonation of Donald Trump as JL impersonating Donald Trump, cross-examining Kash Patel during a Senate, a House hearing. Can I try that? And if you like it, please, I need you to honestly go to donatetojl.com. Just anything you can give, anything you give, or if you're giving hourly, if you're like, and I'll check in for another hour of the telethon, bing, bing. But me pretending to be Donald Trump in a congressional hearing, cross-examining Kash Patel. Not that I would do this, but this would probably be interesting. Now, FBI Director Patel, is it true that you said you'd do anything for me? I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. And I think you're rude to be impersonating our president. Cross-eyed Cash, do me a favor. When you talk to me, show some respect. Separate your eyes so they look. You see where I am? You're looking very rudely at the center of my nose. I'd like you to look at me. What you're doing right now is disrespectful. You wouldn't do this to any other FBI director.
Well, that's because I don't think you're any FBI director. I think you're the worst FBI director we've ever seen, and I don't think you deserve this job at all. Now, my question is, why are you flying your girlfriend, who nobody's ever heard of? She's some second-rate, third-rate. Is she a country singer? What's she doing with you? Did she think you had? She probably thought your name was Cash, like one of these country singers. Like, my name's Cash Chase Warren Smithersons, but instead you were Cash. Like, your name's Cash App. You're either not country music, if you know what I mean, or you are named after the Cash App, and maybe she wanted cash. What you're saying is offensive to me and my people, and I am the FBI director, and you must stop. You have to stop. Nobody respects you. You're a little piece of crap. Okay. That's why I made you FBI director, because nobody respects you, and you'd be totally loyal to me. Now, why the hell is your girlfriend being flown everywhere and getting security, you son of a bitch? Don't call me a son of a bitch. She's my first girlfriend in a decade, and I'm very lonely. Are you going to cry, Cash? Are you going to cry, Cash Patel, just because you're a country girl? Oh, let me fly her to see a hockey game, because, that's what country singers love. They love their Cash App boyfriends and hockey. You certainly know our country. You're being mean to me. Please make it stop. I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Just like Trump's friend Puff Daddy. Okay. Did you see the documentary? Not nice, but we respect it. And scene. So, is that what you want me to do with my performance chops? Obviously, I wouldn't do that. But it's also sort of, I can't tell you exactly what I would do performance-wise, because yes, there is a theatrical element to it, but I feel like it's embedded in who I am. And I don't mean that like I'm a dramatic person. I just mean I've been funny most of my life. I've done comedy for most of my adult life. And I think that's what people sort of resonate with when they meet me on the campaign trail and at these events, is just kind of there's two ways to not talk like a politician. There's Trump, where you're a disgusting, crude moron, and people go, I like him because he talks like the crude idiots that I hang out with. And then there's talking like a regular person, where some people can just sort of say, yeah, okay, he's a little different, because everybody on this campaign, it's like, just like being a comedian for decades gives you a certain repartee, a certain vibe, a certain communication style that is engaging, I think, to some people. Being a politician for too long gives you a politician's speaking style, a cautious, prepared, pausing at the right times. And that, in a world where communication is important, I think how I communicate sort of organically at this point is just enough. Almost. It's almost just a maybe somewhat engaging style for the times we live in. So I keep it real. Thank you. JL would have first sold out. Yeah. Thank you. Very good. JL 26. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Nice chat. Okay. The chat seems to be pretty good. 4 hours of candidate would bore us and bore our wallets. All right. Well, I would like to bore into your wallet, anyway. Oh, wow. Okay. You guys, I'm going to have to take a 1 minute break. Donald Trump Jr. is here. And he's standing in for his father. His father was supposed to close out each hour, but he decided he didn't want to. So it's going to be the Don Jr. to close out this segment. So I will be back in less than a minute. And while I'm gone, if you've been enjoying yourself so far, please tell a friend, tell any friends who are fans of mine, if they haven't jumped in, if you want to let them know. And of course, donate to jl.com. And thank you to the Reality Redemption folks who have been posting the mailing address as well, for anybody who wants to send a check instead of doing the Act Blue. But obviously the Act Blue is quickest, and we appreciate any and all donations. So I'm going to go let Don Jr. in, but please, while I'm away, yes, donate. I know that sounds greedy, but I have to emphasize it every hour. What we're doing in this campaign is like nobody else in this campaign. And we are really on the verge of making, between our ad and our strategy coming up, we need some funding for this. But once it drops, I think it's going to change where this race is headed. So I wouldn't say it to you if I didn't believe it. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I do believe it. And your generosity is very appreciated. So I'm going to go let Don Jr. in. I'll be back in I guess maybe a minute. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Stay here. Stay here. Donald Trump Jr. Major get for us. Okay, bye. Oh, wait a second, guys. Sorry, Don Jr. demanded that he wouldn't come in until I brought him this. So I'm sorry. You probably shouldn't see this, but this was, I guess, in his rider. So I don't know what this is. I'm not familiar with this, obviously, but he demanded that I give it to him. He's called it his energy powder. I'm sorry. Oh boy, oh boy. What radical left chat is this? Oh boy. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Hey, so what's up, Patriots? What's up, Patriots? So I don't know. My dad told me he was like, he wanted to spend some quality time with his new future daughter-in-law. He said, boy, oh boy, I don't know how you keep pulling these hot chicks, Don Jr. So he said, do you mind if I hang out with your new fiance for a little while so you can take my spot in this radical left chat? Okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. Okay.